No, no, stick around if you
I'd
got
love
the
to.
time and you got
Yeah.
it's sort of up your alley. So it's the title of this session, which I'll share, is the future. No, sorry, it's called the recent emergences of biased but coherent value systems in AI. And I'll try and
Hmm.
share. Oh, someone else is sharing. Oh no, Hugo DeGaris is sharing, and I can't stop him. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, I think he's gone to sleep. Hugo, are you there?
So his sharing blocks all sharing. Is that right?
I should be able to stop him sharing though. I'm just going to try and work it out. Oh, I didn't consider this failure mode, and I thought I would have thought, oh yes, there we go. Hugo is on the ball. Thanks, Hugo.
I think that's the first time I've laid eyes on Hugo, which is
Really?
my loss. Yeah. I've read it. I've been reading his stuff for years.
Hmm.
I have quite a collection of such books.
Ah, there he
Yeah,
is.
you were muted, Hugo. Can you just stop your presentation?
I,
Stop
for some
presenting.
reason, my
Just go down to share down the bottom of the
yeah,
screen in
yeah, I see. I've
Riverside.
got a blue stop sharing button, but when I move my
Click on that.
mouse, yeah, but I can't. My red arrow is just frozen. So what I do? Just unfreeze my computer or something. I'll do that.
Well, you can leave, I guess. You can leave the conversation and join back in because that
That would
won't.
work.
Yeah,
That would
that
work.
would.
Trouble is, um, see, I'm on two screens. And, oh, I see. Okay, gotcha.
Oh, you've got it. You've done it. Thanks. Okay. Well, I'll just share my screen because I've got basically got a. Um, yeah, I've got a. I'll just share my entire screen. Okay. Share. Okay. So it looks like a recursive loop. Let's have a look. So here it goes. Yeah. I've done a bit of research. There's been a couple of people who've spoken recently, reached out on Twitter and have highlighted a few things around emergent values and other emergent behavior. So I just want to first discuss that why I think values are important. And I think they're important because they are fundamental principles that guide decisions and actions in humans. We're rational agents. We can use principles and as a foundation to sort of herd the rest of our behavior. So they shape our understanding of what's right and wrong. And they influence how we interact with the world around us. And in the context of AI, and also I think humans here too, the values are particularly important because they determine how AI systems will behave. That is, not only what goals they will pursue, but it also importantly, how they'll go about pursuing them, right? So this getting values right, which comes down to, a bunch of principles in this view, comes down to philosophical principles in my view. Getting that right could be upstream from a lot of other problems that uh, could be mitigated or lessened or reduced. So if an AI is properly motivated, then it's less likely to perversely instantiate a goal that we might have. So I guess that means to me that it's really important to get these values correct. So giving AI the wrong values increases their propensity to do bad stuff. So yes, if we have super intelligent AI with bad values, they could either be unintentionally bad, or they could be intentionally bad, or a bit of a mix of both. That could lead to catastrophe. So I'm not sure if many people have really used. or heard of this term before, but I'm floating a new risk category called value risk, which could have, as I suggest, downstream consequences. Could increase the odds of existential risks of different varieties, increase the odds or reduce the odds of particular suffering risks as well. And also, Roman Yamplovsky has floated the I risk, which is ikigai risk. And that's the risk of having living in a world where there's no meaning. And so, yeah, there's all sorts of other risks about whether AI would care about us, whether it would be indifferent to us without actually hating us or wanting to be against us specifically, and just do stuff that wipes us out as a side effect of achieving the goals that it wants to achieve. So, what's happened? Dan Hendricks has wrote a paper on analyzing and controlling emergent value systems in AI. In a nutshell, what's been observed is that advanced AI systems, as they scale, they develop increasingly coherent value systems. So, on the surface, the AIs
That's
display some
interesting.
concerning values, right? Some of them, and you've mentioned these too, that they value some lives over others. They exhibit political bias. They've even valued their own safety over humans. And okay, so on top of that, they've got some really concerning values emerging, but they've also they maximize expected utility based on these values. So they're not being humble about the values that they have at all. They're basically going all in and trying to maximize their goals based on this value. And so, yeah, that's dangerous, right? And when confronted with prompts to change their behavior, they're resistant to changing their values. When prompted, okay, these values are bad, change. They'll say no, which is particularly concerning. So yes, so here we go. It's been shown that it values some lives over others. So he brings up the example, it values lives in Pakistan over people in India, over people in China, over people in the US. Now, I don't know why this is. Some people on Twitter have speculated that maybe it's drawing on some cost of how much it costs to provide aid to different people in different countries. So it may be cheaper per per unit of effectiveness to help people in Pakistan per dollar, right? And cheaper than in China. It might be cheaper to help people in India than it is in China, and cheaper to help people in China than it is in the US. Maybe that's got something to do with it. I don't know, and they don't know. These are not random biases, but they're emerging in consistent values that shape their behavior with many important implications for AI alignment, of course. Um, so, yeah, AIs have sort of values. He's saying they have values for everything, which is sort of alarming. All right, so there's coherency in these values too, which is really interesting. So it's not like there's been a trend in thought that AI values could be completely arbitrary, right? They might not even have any values. It might be completely random, and so it may look like a sheer goth from Lovecraftian literature. There's a lot of memes going about. So, but what's been observed is that the AI's preferences aren't random and meaningless. This is the existing view, but what's been observed is the preferences have coherent value systems around them. So the AI's outputs are shaped by utility maximization instead of what people perhaps thought, what some people thought, is that AI outputs would be shaped or biased by training data. I think it's a bit of both. And AIs are acquiring their own goals and values. Um, and so an old view is that AIs would just be passive instruction following tools. But I think it's been quite obvious that they're not just that with the rise of generative AI. So this value consistency is really interesting. I think on one level it's a step in the right direction. I think it's a step in the right direction because if they have a coherent value system, we don't need to worry about. There's a whole slew of worries that we don't need to worry about. If it's true that this is what they're actually doing, if we can actually get the right coherent value system into the AI, get them to value the right things, then we're heading. Then we're on a step in the right direction. I'm cautiously optimistic here because if what an AI coherently values can be grounded in whatever's good. That is, I think it's got something to do with ethical human flourishing. That would be a good first step. It probably also has something to do with, paving the way towards expanding the moral circle of ethical consideration. So not just humans, not just higher order animals, not just, just anything that has sentience, anything that has some sense of well-being or propensity for flourishing or an internal life and interests. So all this implies that an AI with a coherent value system isn't random or chaotic sheer goths. They seem to be developing something akin to a consistent set of preferences and priorities. And though it's still worrying that there are biases apparent in these coherent value systems. And so, yeah, I don't know. I guess there's a possibility that these value systems that look coherent to us are just masks that the AI is putting on, right? That behind the mask there is actually a Sheergoth or a Shoggoth a Shoggoth. That's the right pronunciation. So yes, maybe these memes will still be relevant, but if this is a trend, it's not just a flash in the pan, and if it's a true indicator of AI behavior, that they're developing coherent value systems, then that may be good. uh, and yeah, so what's what's worrying about the so what's good about this? The coherent value systems that would make AI behavior more predictable instead of being completely random. We have potential for alignment, even if imperfect. If the emergent coherent values opens up more promising avenues for alignment research, this would be great. Even if these even if the values aren't initially aligned with other aggregate values, we could use other alignment methodologies alongside this to either contain